Keep singing. This is gonna be your intro music. Keep singing. Keep singing.
It's magic. Is it working? Is it helping?
I love it. It's helping. It's magically helping. It's helping me so much. Okay, let me get your video.
People are leaving. People are leaving.
Awesome.
I said it was helping. That's who's to say that's not what we want to happen.
I get commercials, so that means we have actually started.
Okay, but do you get our audio? That's the question.
Dude's got talent.
Beautiful, beautiful. Marco, we haven't heard from you in a while. Tell us what's been going on in your life, man.
Well, nothing special right now because I've been working my ass off. I'm still sitting on 38 vacation days this year.
Oh,
yes, like 38 days still left to take this year. I'm totally. That's why I haven't modeled much recently, and I'm totally sad. But my energy is so low, I just have to drag myself into the vacation. But good news, vacation is starting on Monday.
Great.
Ooh. So when I go back to work, you go on vacation.
Yeah,
sounds like a deal.
Nice.
So how was your holiday, Simon?
Great. So far, it was pretty amazing. Did loads of awesome things. And,
you were in Canada, weren't you?
Exactly. Yes, I was. As people watching this show, I think we should introduce this show, shouldn't we?
Yes. Yeah, we should probably get. Okay. All right. So now I've finally got all the shit up. I've got Brett's profile up. I think. Yep. More or less. Is the audio working? Okay, so far everything seems fine. That sounds like a good time to start this thing. So I'd like to welcome you all to the #1 Tyranid shit show on the internet, the Creature Conference. And we've got a very special episode for you today. We have welcomed our good friend Quarantine Miniatures, otherwise known as Brett, from the land down under. I will not sing bad songs, I promise.
Yep.
And today we're going to be talking to Brett about one of Simon's favorite things, Brawl Arcane, which is the miniature game that Brett created. But before we get started, Brett, we need you to do a very important thing for the Creature Conference. We need you to tell the people listening at home what part of Rick Priestley's palatial mansion are we coming them from this week?
Maybe the wine cellar.
The wine cellar, and why is that?
I don't know. It's the first thing that popped into my head.
Sounds good. Well, it's kind of like a cavey place. Could be an arcane place, maybe.
I'm sure it's very spacious.
Man, it's not even 7 in the morning in your time zone, and you're already thinking of wine basements. That sounds great.
He's getting ready for his day. Sorry, go ahead, Brett. What were you saying?
I said I'm Australian. We're all alcoholics.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you can't take that from us Irish. That's our thingy.
How about you do the Irish thing and fight for it, Flynn?
Yeah, I'd just rather have the bottle of beer.
All right. Yeah, so Brett, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the stream. I didn't ask you if you wanted to have your video on. You don't have to have your video on, but if you want to have your video on,
video, I'd have to like plug in my phone or something.
Okay, that's fine. Then we'll go without. Instead of your video, I've got your profile up, so I can bring up Brawl Arcane stuff, and I should actually open the Brawl Arcane link. That would be smart. Yeah. So yeah, for folks who are not familiar, actually, Simon, why don't you give people the rundown? I know Brett's the expert, but you are a happy customer of the Brawl Arcane. So why don't you give people a rundown of what Brawl Arcane's all about, and then Brett can tell you how wrong you are, I guess. Or talk about how you discovered it and like your interactions with it.
I honestly don't know. I think I've been following Brett since he, I don't know, started his Chaos Spawn only army thing, and he had some pretty amazing conversions there. And I think at some point he, just introduced this in his stories, and I was like, okay, I will just check this out. But it was at a time that I kind of discovered that there's like when I left the 40K universe, I felt like looking over the lip and seeing all the different things that are out there, and a lot of those things I didn't really like. For example, like bolt action and some other things where others who had left, like Games Workshop, found a new home, and I was like, okay, that's a weird place. I don't want to go there. Um, and as I am, I'm one horse, one trick pony, and I settled with Infinity at that time, and then I just did Infinity, and then I left Infinity and just did Frostgrave, and now I'm in this weird situation where I don't play Frostgrave anymore, and I don't play really something, but as of right now, like there's so many different miniature-agnostic games popping up, which I absolutely love because you can use whatever you want to, and you can just smash something up and play with that, and
Yeah,
that's
can you say a little more about miniature agnostic for people, because you kind of explained it there, but for people who aren't familiar with that term, what do you mean by miniature agnostic games?
Brawl Arcane is a perfect example. You have a rule set written by someone who has like a vision for a theme or a setup or a rule mechanic or whatever. It basically is always a tabletop, but there are no figures produced for that. If you want, Frostgrave was the first real, at least to me, the first real miniature agnostic game. There were miniatures sold, which you could use, but it was emphasized at every left, right, and center that you can use for that game whatever miniatures you want. So because the Frostgrave was written especially for people using the miniatures they already had, and so they didn't need to buy new stuff. And as we all like new stuff, of course, I did not stop there. I didn't use what I had, but I kept on building stuff for Frostgrave. And the beauty of that was I could, build whatever I wanted. At some point, I built a machine gun wielding wizard, and he fitted Frostgrave just perfectly. And
Yeah.
so it basically means that you can use whatever miniatures you like, whatever brand you like, whatever basically whatever you like, and encourages that you explore the wonderful world of miniatures because there's so much to find and so much to enjoy. It's not that you just have to buy the one box that exists for a certain troop type from Games
Yep.
Workshop.
Yep.
And for example, I started this year with building my sludge army. So Sludge is another miniature agnostic game where you are building like a real army, and it has like certain game mechanics, which I find really interesting. For example, like gore tokens, so you have massive piles of blood and body parts. And what I found pretty curious was that if you look at my screen, you have those three those bases where you have three miniatures on at the
Yep.
same time, which I found highly curious in the beginning, and I really liked the looks of that and the possibilities for making weird bases. But it's an army, and with Brawl Arcane, you don't need that much miniatures. You just need like 4 miniatures each for each player, and that's the beauty of it, at least to me.
All right, Brett, you're the expert. How do you do?
I mean, yeah, that sounded pretty accurate. It sounded, sort of he hit the points I definitely would hit, which is that like I specifically designed it so that it is you don't have to make a lot. And the rules are super like I did everything I could at the start to make it as accessible as possible.
Awesome.
It has become less, not less so, but the rules have had to become a bit more dense as times have gone on, basically.
Yeah.
Mostly because I wrote rules like, oh yeah, those make sense, but then sort of quickly discovered that they didn't really make a lot of sense to sort of non-native English speakers, so I had to sort of rewrite them, be a bit more.
Yeah.
Because I was really trying to avoid the like Games Workshop legalese, super dense,
Yeah.
kind of rules, but I've had to move a bit and keep it more casual, but I've had to sort of find a happy medium.
Nice. And I guess I should I'm doing this kind of in a random order, but maybe we should wind it up. Like, how did you get into the miniature hobby, and what inspired you to make your own game?
Okay. Well, I got into the hobby with the as a teenager with the like Lord of the Rings miniatures magazine that they did, which I think is a lot of people sort of my age got into it.
Which is, sorry to interrupt, which is so funny because I was in the hobby back then, and I thought those magazines were the most curious things, and I thought those will never work for anyone because they usually don't. Like, you buy the first book and then you're done. But I have heard from so many people by now that they were drawn into the hobby with these magazines, which I find super funny.
Simon, are you able to back your mic up a bit? You're like very much louder than.
Sure.
Is it very close to your face or something?
I'll see what I can do about that.
I don't know if you can modify it, but sorry, go ahead.
The magazines are cheaper, but I also lived in a small country town and was like probably 2 or 3 hours from the nearest place that sold like Warhammer or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that the local newsagents, you could have a subscription and just get it like sent to your house, was a big draw to it.
Mm-hmm.
I did that till I was sort of I think I did also what a lot of people do, sort of turned 18 and discovered partying, and it all sort of fell away, and then I sort of started just randomly. I thought about getting back into it for a while, and then just decided, yeah, screw it, I'm going to get back into it. Like, I don't know, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know, it was a while ago, and I've just been doing it ever since. As for what made me make a game, I couldn't tell you. I forget. I had an idea for it. Maybe, I don't know. It's not like I have a big, group of friends who all play, miniatures, and we were looking for something new to play or anything like that. I just had the idea and started working on it.
Awesome. And have you developed like games before, anything like this?
No, I mean I've messed around making like video games, but never.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Nothing great, just like little 2D, little side-scrolling things.
That's cool. But
nothing that I've ever finished, or
But your handle on Instagram is Quarantine Miniatures. Did you start that account when the quarantine started?
Yeah, I started it on Facebook in like mid-2020.
Yeah.
And then started Instagram like the start of 21, I think. And that was just, it was just the obvious choice for the name. I was surprised that no one had taken it yet.
Yeah, and it was amazing. Just Simon mentioned them, but I've been kind of like randomly scrolling through your profile while we've been talking, but your spawn are fantastic. Every one of them is so different.
Yeah, that's definitely sort of what I would say the majority of my followers have come from.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Like those, my spawn have like far and away the most likes of anything I do.
Well, other than your 5th member model, which clearly has some of the most likes ever. You were the first to make a 5th member model. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that in like an afternoon.
Sweet. And so how has the response been to Brawl Arcane since because you had a post here in February of this year, I think? Was that when you started?
Yeah, that's when it came out.
Yeah.
February, March. I mean, yeah, it's been good. People seem to enjoy it. It's become a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be honest.
Yes.
But yeah, I haven't heard anyone. I mean, it'd be weird if people are like this goes shit, but
A good point. Okay, so it's been like largely, and like, you've also done like expansions for it, right?
Well, it's not so much expansions. It was just I got it out there as like a basic thing, and it's because I'm just updating. All the stuff that I've added is stuff that I originally planned to be in there, but I figured I would do because I play a lot of video games and stuff, right? So that like early access world of things.
And I have to say this is one of the reasons. Sorry,
go ahead.
That is one of the reasons that I got drawn into this whole thing. Was the beauty of this is when you are playing a game that is like produced by one of the major players, you are basically force fed what they come up with. So they have an idea for something, they will just make rules for them and then shove them down your throat, whether you like it or not. And here you have the ability, you have the access to the mind behind the rules, and you have a community that kind of watches as this whole thing grows and kind of brings ideas in, and some get, not every idea is brilliant, some get rejected, some find their way into the thing, and you can be a little bit like the early days of Kickstarter, where you could be part of something that's still small and still evolving and is still growing.
Yeah.
And for example, those what Brett mentioned, like certain things that you cannot, or that are harder to understand for non-native speaker, like I am. Sometimes I misunderstand things because I'm not in the language.
Yeah.
And just going back and asking the person who invented the whole thing, like it would be like going to the studio from Games Workshop and saying, hey, you have written this rule, what's your intention behind that? Is it going to work this way or that way? And they answer you, yeah, we thought it could be cool if it would go this way. And then you would be, yeah, okay, that's cool, I'll play it this way then.
So wait, Brett, when you were saying that about non-English speakers, was that Simon you were talking about, asking you for clarification?
He was one of them. Yes, there was a couple, but like specific, I can't remember what the rule was, but there was one rule, and like I thought it was pretty clear, and then someone asked me, and I can't remember like where they're from, but I know that they're not like English isn't their first language, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just they didn't get it, and then Hydra asked the same question. I'm like, okay, there's definitely I need to fix this rule. There's clearly something about the like way I've worded this that just doesn't translate well.
That's awesome, and also I guess good for you to get that instant feedback.
Yeah, well, that's why part of the reason I released it how I did was like, here's the core rules, and if I just put it out into the world and say I put up a Discord, then I just get a bunch of like free playtesters, basically.
Yeah.
Instead of having to like, organize with, find people who want to playtest a random game, organize times, do all this stuff. I'll just put it out into the world and someone will tell me if it works or not.
Nice.
And as we're talking, have you, when you invented this game, did you have in your mind that this could be played remotely so well because of the chessboard? Like, was it part of your intentional design?
The remotely thing was not something I thought of. I thought that it would, you could play it on like sort of any sort of virtual tabletop, because I've done games of it on Roll20, which is your basic sort of, it's just a top down for like D&D, but it works for this because at least for playtesting stuff, because the prettiness of the models doesn't really matter. You could play the game with a chessboard and some pebbles, really.
Yeah.
And so let's talk. Sorry, we haven't gotten into that part because I'm rambling over the shop. But I got a picture up now of like the Brawl 28 or Brawl Arcane 28 setup, which is just a chessboard, right?
Yeah, that was part of my making things as accessible as possible. Was because basically I wanted it to be grid based, and so the choice is square grid or hex grid. And hex grid is, I think, better. It's a lot easier to work with, especially for like figuring out the rules and stuff. But knowing that this is not a game where I'm going to be releasing stuff, this is a game where people have to make their own board. Asking people to make a hex grid board is just that's insane. Like you can print one out, but you have to print out a few of them and stick it together to get it big enough. If you have to like draw one, that's just hell. Whereas squares, you can do it. You could do what I did, which is I got a big bit of wood and just like cut lines into it. Or what a lot of other people are doing is just cutting out a bunch of squares and then gluing them all on. Or you can use a chessboard, or you can just, within minutes you can draw a grid with a Sharpie.
I absolutely agree, because I have made since I discovered this game, I have made 3 boards, and my first board is still a virgin. I have posted it on Instagram. It's like I built this because I was so inspired, because it was so simple, and I put all this work into it. And now it's hanging on my wall, and I've never played on it before, because the first time I played the game was with my brother. I was on vacation, and I had nothing on me, and I told him about the game, and he was really into that. And I said, well, he said, I have some free time. Do you have free time? Let's play the game. And I was like, okay. I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I can, steal a bit of paper from my boys and take the crayons and draw a grid, like draw a chess field on that. So that was the first time I did that, and the second time, I think, you're holding up in the camera.
I love that Sharpie on what looks like pizza box. You've gone to the effort of drawing you've got the effort of drawing like cracks in the tiles.
And there's like this like weird thing in the middle with a different pattern, and he's done all the letters as like runes, kind of. Oh wait, that's upside down.
Yeah,
like weirdly runey. Yeah, this was Simon, like when he was in Canada, and I was like, hey, I want to play Brawl Arcane, and he literally ripped this off the box that my Hero Quest came in, and drew this up, and did a beautiful job of it, and we played on it.
Yeah.
And then we used it to prime miniatures after.
And what I wanted to say is that the beauty is that we didn't have like any prepared miniatures for that. I thought about taking some, and in the end we ended up using some what did we use? Death May Die and Hero Quest miniatures, and we took the Hero Quest terrain from the box to use on the board. And it was a hell of a fun. I remember Nora saying, like, you guys are really having fun, aren't you? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another like accessible thing that I did, was just making each of the wizards specifically are pretty vague.
Yes. I just love that.
I'm also a big fan of like soft world building in general anyway. So
what do you mean by that, soft world building?
So there's in like, I guess, literature or movies and stuff and games, there's soft world building and hard world building.
Yeah.
And hard world building is something like Lord of the Rings, where there's just like whole books of just like, this is the deep, dense lore. These are the full lineage of these people. We can find out any question you want is definitely answered.
Yeah.
Whereas soft world building is more vague. Something like Dark Souls is generally called that, where you have to like nothing's really spelled out. You know, you can sort of piece it together, but there's a lot of gaps that you sort of have to infer or fill in and things like
Yeah.
that. So that's
Nice.
soft world building.
I like it.
Whereas, yeah, it's not. Well, it's just soft, I guess.
Well, what it like to me, it invites the players to be part of it. Like
Yeah.
in Games Workshop, people try to like push at the boundaries of their world, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna create this like there's like those 2 unnamed chapters, and it's gonna be like, okay, well my chapter is one of those 2 unnamed like Space Marine chapters, or like I'm gonna create this like fluff that this is happening, or that Space Marines can get infected by Tyranids, and like the reality is that like that stuff is not canon and it'll never be, but yeah, it's not as inviting.
They've been releasing novels for 30 years, so there's going to be a
Yes.
lot of world building. Like there sort of has to be.
Certainly.
But yeah, like I kept it, you know, pretty vague. Like I didn't want to put like a world map or anything like that in.
And you did, just to
I didn't want-
emphasize how great of a
Yeah.
job you did there. Well, for the people who might be watching this, I just love that you could have done an elemental sorcerer, like this is the fire sorcerer, and
Yeah.
this would have been like very abstract, and everyone would have had the picture of the dude with the flamey hair in the head immediately. But instead of calling it the fire sorcerer, you called it the draconic something.
Something,
So-
yeah, I can't remember. It's one of the new ones. I don't know the new ones very well.
So it basically is still like it's all about fire, but as you read the little description that is there, you don't have the image of the fire dude in your head, but you're wondering what what or how a dragon sorcerer looks like. Is he wearing a dragon skin, or is he like actually a dragon, or what's the deal with him? And that really gets your creative juices flowing. I think you did an amazing job there.
But also, in the start of the book, it specifically says, you know, do what you want. You know,
Yeah.
you could change any of the words as long as the numbers are the same. So you could, you know, literally all that character does is just the whole thing is that they set things on fire. So you could change it and call it, you know, Flame Man, and build a and build a model with his head on fire and stuff, and build it like the you sort of basic pyromancer sort of thing. And it would still work. The gameplay wouldn't change at all. It'd just be different look.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between if you give like a specific description and be like, so this is like, this is the flame dude, and everyone will have flame stuck in the head. But there are so many different types of dragons possibly out there that you can that describing it in this way, it's even wider than if you would have said, well, flames.
Yeah, my sort of design theory for each wizard, with at least the gameplay designs, that they're each fundamentally play different. Because it's kind of pointless making 2 identical ones. And then the background stuff is just come up with a cool name that's makes sense for what they do, and then a couple of lines of fluff which are not supposed to be the word of God. They're just supposed to be evocative ideas to give people something to jump off with. That's mostly what this thing is. It started off, the idea behind this was less, I'll make a fun game for people to play, as it was, I'll make a rule set that will give people a jumping off point for making conversions. Because I've heard so many people say, they've been doing Turnip 28, since it came out, but have never played a game of it, sort of thing.
Yeah. And just while we're at it, let me tell you that, for example, my brother hasn't done any real miniature hobby for ages, and I told him about the game, and he was like instantly, like, he's 8 years younger than I am, and I took your game as an excuse to get in more contact with him, as we don't see each other very often, but now we have something easy and fun to chat about. And he hadn't done any miniatures for such a long time, and I told him about your game, and he was like, "Oh, I have these weird cone pines,
Pine
seed,
cones.
pine cones, yes,
Yeah.
found in Greece. And do you think I could turn them into miniatures for the game?" And I was like, "Absolutely!" And he did an amazing job with that. Yeah,
I've,
I
heard,
just wanted to say that it's doing circles.
I've heard a lot of people say similar things. I think because like someone on the Discord said that his the rules are simple enough that his young kids could understand them, so
Yep.
they played some games. And then I've heard a few people say that oh, my partner isn't really into wargaming, but she likes this game. I think part of that is I purposely kept the rules pretty light, and also that because it's only 4 models, even if you're not super into miniatures, most people could sort of I could do 4,
Yep.
just to because it'll make my partner happy and we can spend time together. I'll do this thing I don't not enjoying or whatever, because it's only 4 models, so that's an afternoon you can do that in, as opposed to most other games. It's more of an investment.
Yep, certainly. And I'm thinking about playing it with Nora because she's into miniature gaming. I'm not one of those people who wants to try and get my partner into Warhammer, because I'm fine with having my own thing, but she's interested in Death May Die, and when Hydra was here, he got her to paint some, didn't get her to paint, but he was like, "Why don't we paint these miniatures?" And she's like, "Can I paint some?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he brought her in and showed her how to use contrast paints and stuff. And I think that she could enjoy Brawl Arcane. So yeah, I'm gonna try that out too.
Yeah, someone just messaged me. I put the word out about this stream too, so there might be some not Tyranid people in the chat.
That's cool. We're happy, dude. This is an anything stream. As long as you're not into Space Marines, you're welcome here. So everyone and anyone is welcome. Thank you for messaging it out. That's awesome. Yeah, we're happy to have everybody.
Yep. And it might be the case that they're forming a German Brawl Arcane community already. Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, yeah, I told Zebo about it, and he's
Mhm.
building his. So there's a German miniature podcast, which is fairly big, and he talked about the game on the podcast, and people got interested, and you should really do something about how people can find you on Google, because when you Google Brawl Arcane 28, it's not what you want that's showing up.
See, it's it's hard because when I just googled Brawl Arcane 28, first result was Gardens of Hecate, or however you say
Yeah,
it.
I saw that. Yeah.
Her blog post about it. The second
pretty
result is a video where someone did a live stream playing the game, and then the third result is my itch.io page.
Okay.
So it's just I think Google works differently for people,
Yeah, I did that a while ago. I think Anna didn't post her article by then.
Okay, so Simon, you know what we have to do?
What?
How this Brett can do very little about this. How we do that? How we make sure it's showing up on Google is that you post about it on H-Archive, I post about it on Modern Synthesist, and that's how you get Google to pay attention to stuff. You got to post it on a bunch of other websites and have those websites referring to it. So Brett, let us know which is the. I'm assuming your HIO page is the base one.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That has the links to the Discord as well.
Yeah,
on there.
Look at us scheming on the stream how to overrun Google.
Hey man, this is what it's about. Okay, listen, Google is no longer perfect at this. They've been victims of their own advertising stuff, and apparently now if you need to Google something, the best way to get an accurate answer is to type in what you're looking for and then put Reddit after it, because Reddit is doing a better job of figuring this shit out than Google is.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Section of Boomer Tech support.
Oh wait, Boomer Tech Support. Speaking of Boomer Tech Support, I should put the link in the chat because I'm an idiot.
Guys, that being said, I have to say goodbye, good night, and good fight.
Thanks for
I learned
joining
a
us,
lot.
Marco.
I know what I have to Google now, and I know what I have to look up with Brawl Arcane. Thanks for all that. I'm inspired. Bye bye.
Yeah, we'll hope to see you
Bye.
in 2
Bye.
weeks.
Bye.
Hopefully, you'll have time.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a great stream. Thanks, Brad, for being there. Thanks for doing what you do. Bye bye.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the link. Go ahead, Brett.
Well, one thing I was gonna say with like, I guess it's well, but earlier I figured I should put 28 at the end of the title, just to be, one of the cool kids, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I sort of really wanted to have a justification for that. Right. So originally I was thinking I would set it in like the year 1128 or something.
Yeah.
And have it be, like, World Cup 28 sort of thing. But then I decided to have it just be more vague, not give it an actual year, and just say that it's the 28th Brawl Arcane. So do it like sort of a Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So yeah, in the sort of I wrote like 2 paragraphs of background for the world. And yeah, that's the background is that it's been happening for 28 years. So there's an justification for the number.
I like that. What was I going to say? If there are people who are watching this video, unfortunately, because we got some porn bots in the chat, I changed the settings so that you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel to be able to comment. So I'm sorry if there are Brawl Arcane folks who are here and wanting to say hi. I promise if you subscribe to comment, you can just unsubscribe after. But that's might be holding some people back in the chat because mostly we've been seeing
subscribe because you like the stuff.
Or subscribe because you think that this is really great, even though you've never been here before and are just here for Brawl Arcane. Because I promise that we have Simon on here all the time, and he loves Brawl Arcane. He introduces us to cool games like Brawl Arcane and Apple Picking 28. Shout out Apple Picking 28.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I just realized because I'm seeing the usual suspects in the chat. We've got Peter Hansen here. We've got Symbio Joe, Will K, otherwise known as Tactical D-Bag. Vermis is here. Did I miss anyone?
Vermos.
Dwarfenage was here, but Dwarfenage had to run.
Just follow Symbio Joe's advice. Unfollow is always an option. I unfollow on a regular basis.
Yeah, Symbio Joe usually unfollows when I steal all his shit and don't give him any credit for it.
Or he runs out of money, whichever comes first.
What? It's free. You don't need money to follow.
He's our moneybag uncle.
He is our money bag. He is Captain Money, Uncle Moneypants, as we used to call Marco when he was giving us all the money for commissions.
Yeah, back in the days.
Yeah. So sorry. There was the original Brawl Arcane, and then you did the Beasts one. Was that the next kind of iteration on Brawl Arcane?
Basically, the way I did it was I erased the core rules and a handful of wizards, and then I had always planned to add more wizards and more sort of scenarios or game modes or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's what the updates have been, and the have like a big game hunters sort of game mode, where it's instead of 2 wizards fighting each other, it's 2 wizards fighting a big creature.
Yeah.
But then I realized I didn't, as I made the monster, the sort of I kept adding more and more tables to the rules, and then I was like, this kind of fun. There's a lot of options here, and then it just dawned on me that if I put that out as its own challenge to hey, use these tables and make a monster, there'll be prizes, that it would, I could use it as like promotion.
Sweet. And how did that go? I saw some really cool monsters. I found some cool accounts to follow through your monsters.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it worked because people were like, "Oh, people on Instagram love a kit bash challenge. I would
Oh,
say
yeah.
more so than they love, a new rule set to have to learn. So they're going to share it around more.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Symbio Joe is throwing money at us again.
Oh,
So-
Symbio. Okay, at least he waited till after Marco had left, so Marco's not going to ask us to put it in his yacht fund. Thank you, Symbio Joe. That was very generous.
And thanks, Peter Hampson, for buying the game.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
That is also, I think this is important to say.
Yeah.
Because the game you have designed is for free, right?
Yeah, it's pay what you want, mostly because I know that works best.
And
Just
that,
like getting
that
stuff out there. 'Cause a lot of people, even if it's like $2, a lot of people are like, I don't know what this is. I ain't paying $2 for this.
Yeah.
and this is so cool because you can go and check out the rules, and if you like them, you can pay like the
Yeah.
effort people or you have put into that, and I have to say that I am still owing you money because you have brought me so much joy with that game already that I can almost not repay you with that, but.
Well, you can do what all the cheapos do, Simon. You can pay Brett an exposure.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here.
Oh
Woohoo!
yeah, baby. Let's get some exposure up on that. Yeah, that's really great setup that I forgot to mention that when you go on the Brawl Arcane website, which is linked I put it in the chat a little earlier, and it's on Brett's site. On Brett's Instagram profile. You can download the rules for free, or you can donate to Brett to thank him for having created all this, and you can donate whatever you want. So
Yeah.
it's worth it. But if you're just like, I don't know about this, you can just put like $2 in there and see how it goes, or you can take our word for it and give lots of money because it's going to bring you lots of joy.
Yeah.
They are even out. So the recommended price is $6, and
Mhm.
most people pay that. Some people will do $1 or $2, but then quite often people will do $10.
Nice.
Cool.
And like, really, wait, is it an Australian or American?
It's American, so it's
Oh,
actually
I was gonna say if it's Australian, you should definitely put $10 because that's about $2.
yeah, American, so it works out to be a more.
Yeah, I'm in Canada, so our money's worth slightly more than yours, but only slightly.
Yeah.
What the hell? YouTube is recording RuneScape underneath the stream? What?
Recommending?
Oh, I don't know what the hell that's about. I thought I turned off those
I know what
ads.
that is.
I thought I turned off those ads, but I guess I didn't turn off that ad quite.
Whatever that is, but
I
seems
think it's a
fitting.
Blizzard thing. Isn't it a Blizzard thing? I have no idea.
I have.
No, it's because of what's showing. I think it's this game is this game for it. Or behind it.
Right. Yeah, YouTube thinks that you're live streaming RuneScape or something.
Oh, no idea.
It's like an automatic thing that's almost never right. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and the beauty is that with Brawl Arcane, as you might see, I'm putting my Masters of the Universe miniatures together. I can
Oh,
even
we were
play
wondering.
with
Someone
Brawl
asked what
Arcane.
those sprues were. Someone asked what those cream-colored sprues were. I
Oh,
think it might have been
that's
Dwarfish.
Archon Studios Masters of the Universe Battleground.
yeah.
That's like the crummy
Um,
European version.
Yeah. Well, the screw us all over after the good game after the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
With those monsters that I made,
Yeah.
because I wanted to do a couple just to show the sort of variation you could do with the tables, and I was like, well, I have to make it so that these are makeable creatures with the rules.
Yeah.
So the one on the right, this big bear thing, I
Is that?
um
You have another picture
just
of it, right?
rolled.
No?
Well, there's sort of close-up pictures, but
Oh, here we go.
that one I literally rolled up. I put the rules, made the rules, and rolled up and came up with that thing. Whereas the dragon, I had the idea for a shroom dragon, and just when I wrote the rules, made sure that there was like dragony stuff and fungusy stuff in there, so that it's possible to roll that. But I did them like fully opposite. One I built the rules around, and one I built with the rules.
Nice.
Awesome. And that it reminds me of what was it? Is it Chaos Realms or something? There was a book that came out in Warhammer Fantasy Battle where it had like charts in it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you
the old
could-
like Slaves to Darkness books. Yeah,
That's
It had
that
like
thing.
you know, it was like a D100 mutations table and stuff. Yeah.
So your tables kind of reminded me of that a little bit, and people got really into that. I think they use that for the 28 mag challenge where it was like create your own chaos god, use these tables.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, around the same time that I was thinking of this beast stuff, Turn 28 was bringing out like a thing you made. Like it wasn't a monster; it was like a sort of HQ choice something. It was a bigger model though for Turn 28, and it had a massive table of cool stuff that they could get.
Yeah.
So they did a competition for that too. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do that then.
Great minds think alike.
Or I just copied.
Oh, that works too.
What is it? Good artists borrow, great artists steal, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And great artists are happy to share.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And talking about sharing, I think another thing we should dump here is that a fun thing is happening right now. You can read my screen, right?
Not really. It's too
bright.
a little too bright, I think.
What? Too bright? It's a thing that's called hashtag Slugwizard
Yes.
Spring.
Mm-hmm.
So that was last year when I Brew Tiny, that's the handle on Instagram. Like I think it's I Brew
Flynn, can you put it in
Tiny.
the chat?
Pardon?
Can you get iBrew Tiny up in the chat? The profile
Tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on Insta.
So he came out with a Slugwizard Spring last year, which has been a major influence on me.
I was going to
Which
say,
was a-
anyone who follows this stream regularly knows much about Slugwizard Spring from Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're hoping that there are new people.
We're
sometimes
hoping. We're
Yeah.
desperately hoping, yes.
So that was basically a build something, like build a Slugwizard, whatever you come up with. And when you donate to a good cause, you can get cool stuff. And they are running the same show this year again, but this year it's called Squid
Gnome Summer.
Gnome Summer. Yes. And as of today, I have just finished my contributions to that.
Nice.
Which is also at the same time working for Brawl Arcane.
Oh, cool.
Because take it away, Brett.
Well,
I was like, I didn't know this was related to Brett. I'm like, Simon, we're talking about Brett here. Why are you talking about Slugwizard crap?
So there's actually a longer story than you probably realize. But so when I first started making Brawl Arcane late last year, and it was just like, scraps of paper sort of notes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then people at New Year's, people were putting up, hobby resolutions. And so I put up mine as like, I might try and get this wizard duel game that I'm working on released.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were quite interested. They're like, oh, what's this wizard thing? That sounds fun. And that sort of spurred me on to like, oh, I guess I should actually start working on this.
Yeah.
But one of them was Brian, I Brew Tiny, and he was like, oh, what wizard game? What is it? Because I did Slugwizard last year, and he was seemed very excited by the idea of a wizard game. He said he'd been thinking of adding rules to Slugwizards.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a bit of a chat and basically decided that if it was released by the time he did the zine, I would do a special, Slugwizard, exclusive sort of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you get extra rules in like White Dwarf or something like that.
Oh, cool.
The idea that you can play as a Slugwizard, but you have to buy the Slugwizard zine sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that was a big sort of thing that gave me a kick in the ass to actually knuckle down and do it.
Oh, so it is related.
So I decided, and the zine isn't out yet, but I have released the rules for a Brawl Arcane rules for a Slugwizard team on the Discord.
Wait, does that mean 1 Slugwizard and 3 Squid Gnomes?
Yes.
Sweet.
Because it was always sort of that plan, but then I wasn't sure exactly when the zine was coming out, and had people say, "Oh, I'm gonna make a Slugwizard. I'm gonna have it, use it as like a whatever for for
Brawl Arcane.
Brawl Arcane." And I've
Yeah.
been like, maybe just put a pause on that for a minute,
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I should just put these rules out so that if people want to make a Brawl Arcane team for the Slugwizard thing,
Yeah.
then they can, or at least have the
Nice.
rules in mind, as opposed to making it, because the zine's going to come out at the end, so we could,
Gotcha.
so they can include, stuff about like what, happened.
Yeah.
During this year's Slugwizard event.
Yep.
But yeah, I want people to be able to make stuff with the rules in mind. So I've put them out, but they're only on the Discord because they, we still sort of want them to be a
exclusive sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not going to be. They won't ever be like on my itch.io or in the actual proper rulebook.
Oh, okay.
That's the idea, is that they'll be a separate exclusive thing.
Look at you, buddy. Getting your marketing on.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to keep in mind that when you say that you have to buy the magazine, the magazine is done by all kind of people.
Yeah, it's a full community thing. I feel like some of it goes to charity, I imagine. I'm not actually sure, but
yeah, and I think he's again the slug on the Slugwizard Spring site. You can get the details, but this year, when you donate, you are able to get like the magazine, and that will give you the rules for all that. But the magazine, as it probably the community is kind of producing the things, and like everyone's trying to contribute something fun, and in the end, the magazine will be buyable, of course, but the money doesn't go into anybody's pocket. But as I understand it, it goes into charity again.
Okay.
Yeah, last year the charity was the Bale Project, I think.
Yeah, but this year it's an ocean project, like cleaning up the ocean kind of thing.
Nice. Whose Discord is exploding?
Mine, probably. Someone's dropping in and dropping out. I don't know.
Someone just opened YouTube. Maybe Symbio showed up trying to cause shit. Put it past him.
Yeah, so what I have like as my Squid Gnomes and my Slugwizard team is my remote team for my brother. So I made like so how I want to play it remotely is that I'm exchanging miniatures with my gaming partners.
Yeah.
So that they when I play with my brother, he has like 4 miniatures from me on his table at home in Aachen, and I have 4 miniatures of his in my place.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not just putting like stones or like stand-ins or anything, but we are actually exchanging models, which I think is super cool because it's another challenge design-wise, because we kind of thought about how would this controlling work. So like my wizard is in my arena and his wizard is in his arena, but they have stand-ins, and then if his stand-in takes damage in my arena, this physical damage is transferred to his to his board. So we're kind of imagining like the same Brawl Arcane is happening in two places at the same time to get more people to watch it.
Is it like fluff? You're talking about the fluff? Is like this?
No, this is what we're making up in our heads.
Oh, okay.
And so we try to think about how it would look if you're like sending away or trying to control minions on the other side of the continent.
Whoa, okay.
So I send him a bunch of like floaty squids and a big mama squid to be like the wizard. And now I have finished my squid gnomes and my Slugwizard for my game here, like for my the resident wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's sometimes, as you know, as we played, it is sometimes difficult to keep track on which minion is where.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that I will have like my squid gnomes. Let me see if I can get a decent background. Is that working?
I think so.
Kind of, yes.
So
as you...
Sorry, Brett, what was that?
I just say real quick with the releasing the Slugwizard like rule set. It also allows me to, if someone to play it and say, "Oh, this is way overpowered," and I can change it before the final draft of the zine. You know?
Oh, nice. Just using my fans as free playtesters. Hey, that's fine, dude. I'm pretty sure Games Workshop did that.
I think that's what everyone does.
There you go. So if you're interested in getting into Brawl Arcane, you haven't done it yet, you should get on the Discord for Brawl Arcane, and you should get the Slugwizard rules and play with those, and then tell Brett how they play, so that he can you can be part of the development of that team, the official team for the zine.
I think I've got them all figured out pretty well now. Like I think I have figured out what is and isn't overpowered.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done 11 wizards now.
So have you played with all of them? Like, who do you play test with?
I playtest online with people from the Discord. I've played a couple of games with friends.
Yeah.
Play against myself if I'm really desperate to test something out.
How are you as a play companion?
What?
When you're playing against yourself, how are you as an opponent? How would you rate Brett as a Slugwizard opponent?
Pretty good.
Nice.
He knows the rules pretty well.
I hope so.
Although the problem is I have like 7 different versions of the rules rattling around in my head, 3 of which never saw, the public. So it's like, hang on, did I take that out or not? What's that rule still exists?
That's really cool, man.
This still a thing or not? Yeah, I imagine that's not very easy to keep track of.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, it's all the last 2 versions. The rules haven't really changed. They've mostly just changed how they're worded so that to clear up any miscommunications.
Yeah.
Or just there was ones that were like they were worded, and if you like really read it, it made sense. But if you just read, like it's hard to describe. Like people were misunderstanding it, and when you like point them and you read it out like really slowly and carefully, they go, "Oh no, I do understand the rules now." But when you read it normally, it's easy to get not confused, but to misunderstand it.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about me again?
No, not you. But it's can't figure out how to say it, but it's one of those things where you read a rule once and you go, oh, yeah, I know what that means. And then you don't ever really read it again.
Yeah.
When you're unsure about the rule, you just sort of quickly scan it and then you
Yeah.
go, oh, no, I remember how that rule works now.
Yeah.
You don't need to like fully read it again. But the way it was worded, people were getting it wrong, but it was such a simple rule, they didn't feel the need to reread it.
Yeah.
So I just reworded it to be more obvious the sort of way around it's supposed to go.
It reminds me
And
of like. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I wasn't sure how it was going to work when I played the first time with my brother.
Yeah.
Well, he's as well pretty good at English because he's a doctor.
Because he studied in Canada with me.
Yes, exactly. So I was he's good at English, but I wasn't sure how it was going to play out with us, because but the way the rules are written, you can basically play them almost through. Like the steps you take are in the same order as they are in the rule book. I don't know,
which is awesome.
That's very specific.
I think this really helps to quickly pick up the game. It's not very complicated, but you might shy away from a game that you feel like, oh, this could be complicated or whatever. And I just wanted to say that we picked it up in like 10 minutes.
And that time you played with your brother, that was your first time playing, Simon?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you guys are both new to it.
Yes.
The rules, including the rules, like how to play the game, including how to set up the board and stuff, is less than 3 pages.
Yep.
That's everything you need. So everything after that is just stats, basically, of like how much health everything has.
Yep.
But even for a non-native speaker, 3 pages can look intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But with the ordering of the rules, I've heard other people say that when you're making anything really, you have 2 types of rules for yourself. You have your like golden rules that you can't break, and you have your other rules that are sort of more like guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So like they must be this, but sometimes maybe they're not that. But but a golden rule that I've heard that I really took to heart is from an interview I saw with the guy who made Gaslands.
Yeah.
Saying that when you're writing a rule book, the most important thing is that you never, or at least try to, because sometimes it's impossible not to, but do your best to never reference or mention a rule or concept
on another page
that you haven't already explained. So like, don't talk about how much damage a weapon does if you haven't explained how weapons work, how damage is resolved, and all that sort of stuff.
That's smart. I like that.
Because Games Workshop, especially in the new codexes, have it fully ass about. They have like all these rules, and it's like it only affects this sort of model, and it's 30 pages before they explain which models are and aren't that sort of model.
Yeah.
And things like that. Like you don't want to, because if you look at other rule sets, you're like if you have like the like model stats pages before the rules, they don't make any sense.
No, it's like, why would I look at this? I don't know what any of these things mean.
Yeah, you need to explain what the numbers are before you show the numbers. So I've really tried to do that as much as I could in that rule. Like
and I think you succeeded.
But then in doing that, it basically is just follow these steps. This is how you play the game. First because there's phases, and then it's And I'm not going to explain what happens when someone, a model reaches 0 health before I've explained how to attack someone.
Yeah. No, like I didn't read the rules. I had Simon present them to me, and then we played them together, like right there and then. Yeah. And we played 2 games back to back. I won the first game, thanks to a prismatic shard mostly, and or is crystal shard? Is a prismatic shard? Am I getting that right?
That was one thing, but what you did was the magical explosion. We rolled a tie,
Oh yeah,
and it exploded, and the damage I took was the
I
damage
rolled a
was
6.
double, and you rolled the 6.
Yeah,
it straight
So
up blew off my head.
that was a bit lucky. And then the next game you destroyed me. So I don't know if that was just luck that had me win the first game. I was playing the Woods Witch,
Yeah.
Green Witch or whatever. So I don't know
Yeah.
if she's like OP, under P, whatever P. Yeah,
They're
and
all
then
pretty balanced at this point.
good.
Because like that Green Witch was very underpowered, and then
Mhm.
they got a buff in one of the updates.
Sweet.
Because it's version 0.4 now.
Yeah.
Of the public versions, and there's like other versions that I'd done and fiddled around with that I thought 0.1 was balanced, and I've
Yeah.
had 3 versions to address that I was wrong, basically, about that. But
yeah, I played the Green Witch with against my brother.
Yeah.
And when Nick chose the Green Witch, I was like, oh no, please not that again, because he destroyed me with that.
Your brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother did. And I was like, oh no, not again. And then you zapped me in the first game, and I was like, oh no, not again, not again.
Yeah, but then the second game, you basically backed me into a corner, and I kept trying to run away from you, and you kept tearing pieces off me from a distance using your, what is it, Warlock? Astral Warlock? With his shooty minions?
Yeah.
That's one of the... Astral Warlock's one of the new ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so good.
Oh, so I see. Simon was taking advantage of that new Codex creep to smack me in the face.
Yeah.
So, dirty power gamer.
When I first released it, I had pretty much all the updates until there's this one that is coming out next, which I haven't actually started working on yet. Like
more.
Like planned. Like I knew what they were going to have. I knew what the updates were going to be called, because I've always liked especially like video games where they name the updates.
Yeah.
So I knew what they were going to be. And this last one, it was going to just be called the Grand Tournament, because it was going to have rules for tournament style, like knockout tournament play, and then something else, and then have just a couple. It was going to have like 1 or 2 new wizards. But then I kept just getting more ideas for wizards, because I've got on the Discord, I've got an ideas and suggestions thing. So people give me ideas and stuff. I try not to just like rip them off, whole cloth. I, just use them as ideas to, springboard. Or a lot of the time, like one of the new wizards, I had the idea for it, but I was like, I don't know if it'll work. I'll put it on like a, on the shelf for now. Maybe come back to it if I can think of better rules for it. And then like 5 different people were like, hey, what if you made a wizard like that guy? And I was like, oh, I guess I have to do it. The people want it, so I guess I should figure out how this wizard should work.
Yeah.
And so then it was like I had 4 new wizards and hadn't written any of the new scenarios.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe I could just chuck out this wizards update by themselves, just 4 new wizards. And I realized that 2 of the wizards definitely had heretical vibes, or sort of, like bad wizard vibes. One was kind of a charlatan, and the other one was generic, but I just added the word heretical to the description. I was like, there we go, I'll just call it forbidden knowledge. And they're all like loosely like, these are dark wizards or whatever.
Yeah, that was
cool.
It was a great update.
I will say, with you say like you won with a prismatic shard, that crowd favor table is what makes Brawl Arcane. That was one of the last things I added to the rules. I had the game, I had the bases, I had the spells were like randomized and all this stuff, and I was playing it and I was like, it just needed something, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and it was a bit boring. It dragged on a bit. It's one of those things where like you read the rules, you're like, this sounds fun, and then 20 minutes in, you're like, okay, I'm kind of over it now.
Yeah. And for folks that haven't played, do you want to explain like the crowd favors and all that stuff and how that factors into the game?
Yeah, so at its very core, I ripped it off from Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they have a thing where you roll, and it basically just gives you one extra thing at the start of the game. Basically, that's it. So I wanted to have crowd interaction, because another thing, like with Blood Bowl, is that if you push someone off the field, the crowd punches the crap out of them.
Yeah.
And since the idea of the game was that it was basically fantasy boxing, I wanted to have some sort of crowd interaction. The idea is that there's supposed to be a big crowd watching this happen.
Mhm.
And so the way it basically works is that you earn crowd favor points throughout the game, mostly by doing cool stuff. So if there's a magical explosion, you get a crowd favor. If a minion is killed, you get crowd favor, because the crowd just wants blood. basically.
Mhm.
It's like any of those dystopian sci-fi movies where like Running Man or something like that, where this is what is entertainment is now, is murder. And then during the start of your turn, you can roll on a table, and the higher you roll, the better it is for you, and the more crowd favor you have, the better your roll will be.
Mhm.
And they range from kneecapping your wizard for a turn, or dealing a substantial amount of damage to the enemy wizard.
Yeah.
And
And then I just wrote some flavorful things to why these things are happening, like prismatic shard or whatever.
And what I love about that is when you take the second to try to envision how a crowd cheering for your wizard will look like.
Yeah.
So the first wizard I played was a necromancer, and I
Yeah.
imagined all those skeletons and zombies and mummies, like the whole Hero Quest undead crew sitting in the crowd there. And I once rolled that the crowd starts chanting like a war song.
Yeah.
I tried to envision how a bunch of zombies would sound like if they try to sing. Like they would go, and we quickly agreed that it would also sound like a big orgy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is also I don't know. I want to say joke. Joke's is a very strong word. A dumb little thing I added into the rules that I don't think anyone has noticed, or people have noticed, they haven't mentioned it yet.
Yeah.
The spells are all just named for what they are, but I had to add a just generic. This is a spell that deals damage. Just a base sort of thing.
Is that the magic missile?
It's
Oh, yeah.
Arcane Rocket. Yeah.
Arcane Rocket, yeah.
Yeah, which is literally just I put magic missile through a thesaurus.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Arcane Rocket. That's all it is. That's literally what that is.
Nice.
Arcane magic rocket missile. Like I just
Because his magic missile, is that D&D? I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, that's D&D, but it is like I've seen a few different like media things where when they're making fun of like D&D or LARPing, they're always like, I shoot a magic missile.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my generic spell, was just legally distinct magic missile.
I forgot. I never used that spell. I should have used it more.
It comes in handy because there's basically there's two types of wizards. Ones that can deal a lot of damage, and ones that are more defensive or utility ones.
Yeah.
Because some of them don't have. Some wizards can only deal damage through Arcane Rocket.
Yeah.
And then, especially with the new 4 from the Forbidden Knowledge update, there's some real weird ones in there. Like the Artful Trickster gets extra crowd favor, and yeah.
Yeah, the Flesh Mutator Transmuter is probably one of the people's favorites. because you can craft like all the weirdness into the someone who's crafting flesh.
Yeah, I had the idea for that one very early on. It just took me a while to figure out how to actually make it work
Yeah.
because
And
it is, it has its own table to roll on, which is unique.
And I love that it's like a supportive character.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it's the idea is it's a mad scientist basically.
Yeah.
So when their ability is when you summon a minion, they get a buff basically. Each minion has its own random buff that lasts until it dies, and their spell, instead of being like a bunch of damage, it makes one of their minions incredibly strong, it makes them really, really strong, but then it dies at the end. Like it fully just overloads their, body.
Yeah, like an
Like turns it
abomination.
from Jekyll to Hyde.
Ah, yes, okay.
Yeah, but they just Hulk out, but it kills them. But who cares? Because it's just some weird mutant freako that this insane wizard has put together. So yeah, it's the flesh transmuter is the wizard.
I was just thinking,
if you call it
go ahead.
transmuter, sounds French and therefore fancy.
Oh, fancy. So he should have like a beret and be smoking a cigarette while he's making his mad creations.
Yeah, maybe.
Flynn, can you take a spin through the chat? I feel like we've been remiss.
Cigarette has gone away after donating the money.
Oh, thanks, Symbio.
Yeah. Peter Hampson said at one point, "Squid Gnome, you have my attention now." Also going, interesting thing I've discovered, the 8th book in the first edition Horus Heresy rules has an amazing demon army building rule set. I want to convert it to modern 4K and liberate it from Horus Heresy 1.0. It basically lets you make whatever your demons you want.
Cool.
And then Boris comes in going, I want more Ruin Storm generic demons. First Centurion console I'm doing. The Eastern Terrace so I can summon demons.
I guess that's 40k, not Brawl.
40K
Yeah, like it'd be
slash
cool to have
Horus
generic
Heresy.
demons in 40k. Because everything has to be
Yeah.
like Nurgle or like Slaanesh or whatever. It's a good call.
Yeah.
So Brett, what's next for Brawl Arcane?
Well, there's a few more scenarios that I need to, but I haven't really been working on Brawl Arcane at the moment. I did the last update while I was away.
Yeah.
I couldn't work on models, so I was like, well, I guess I'll work on these rules because I can just do that on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I released that and haven't really done anything on Brawl Arcane since.
Okay. But do you have like ideas for where you want to go next?
I have, yeah. So the next, I want to do a sort of a tournament thing. So basically rules for like how to do like a bracket tournament. And you could do it as players, but it's more designed to just be like 2 players playing. So you basically would get 8 wizards and then put them in, a knockout bracket tournament.
Yep.
And then play however many games that is.
Cool. And that was the one you were going to do, but then you did the Forbidden Knowledge instead?
Yeah, it was going to be all the same update, but I decided to separate it out just so I could get something out.
Yeah.
And then possibly some sort of like multiplayer version, like a free-for-all, so like 3 or 4 players.
That's interesting.
Cool.
But I haven't actually figured out what that would be, but I think it would be fun to just have, I mean, it wouldn't be very much. It would just be some like basic guidelines of like, how to turn order, things like that. Yeah. Just some small logistics on it.
Like some kind of like battle royale flavor. I don't know how.
Yeah, something like that. I haven't really figured out what it is yet.
Well, like
I just know it'd be something cool to have in there, so that if people do have other people around, you can all sort of play at the same time. But
Yeah.
you can just put more models and play it normally, but then there's like logistical questions that pop up, like, well, how does this work?
Yeah. Simon, can you think of like a setting when like a bunch of wizards would be fighting each other?
Give me a second, please.
Oh yeah. Because I was thinking about like my only knowledge of fantasy right now, I feel like comes from Game of Thrones, but they like have like, do they call them like the melee at tournaments where like a bunch of different guys all pile in together with short range weapons and they're just trying to bash each other on the head?
Yeah, it's like the Grand Melee.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it would just be a free for all. I think is probably what I'd call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And would that come with new
I'm back.
wizards or welcome back. Would that come with new wizards or that would just be
No, at the moment, no. The
Gotcha.
wizards are all just separate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what really needs, or no, not needs. Need is wrong word, but what I would love to see is some scenarios, because I feel like we played the game like 2 times and we're at a draw.
Yeah.
And the question would be, so if we would play our third game, what would we play then? Would we play the next grudge match and see like again like who's the best of 3, or what would we do?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there's a couple of scenarios at the moment. There's the basic, just sort of standard one, and then there's grudge match, which again is just isn't really any different scenario. It's just a different, it's some additional rules to add on top for like
Yeah.
a best 2 out of 3. There's the moving terrain one, living arena, I think it's called.
Oh.
Which is pretty fun, but it is extra bookkeeping.
Yeah.
But it is pretty cool. Basically, the terrain, after every player turn, all the terrain moves.
So you could be in cover and then it's gone. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Or like what happened in the people who live streamed it a month or 2 ago, the game ended because the wizard got crushed by a piece of terrain.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because if the terrain moves into your space, the terrain wins. Like you're not like
Yeah. Does it push you like to the next space, or like, and he was on the edge and he went off the side, or what?
well, it does damage and pushes you.
Oh, okay.
And also there's a special piece of terrain that you can like interact with that will either, it's a D3 and will either heal the model, damage the model, or summon a new minion.
Ah.
So because that living arena is the only one where a minion could potentially summon another minion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Like, either exploit the possibilities of interacting with terrain. I think that's a pretty good, lead to follow. Because you can you can have all kinds of weird terrain going on, like teleporters or stuff like that, which you can interact with, or like a weapon stove, or like, oh look, my minion just has a massive axe, and now their power gets +1. Like, I don't know what movie it was, but in some of that arena fighting movies where suddenly they roll in like a cage with additional weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just saw in the chat, Bargast saying, I think it's fairly classic that wizards fight over power. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. In the tiny bit of lore that I wrote, it says, wizards now come from far and wide to settle old scores, humiliate rivals, and battle for fame and fortune in bloody magical combat.
Mhm.
So that's the idea, is that if in this society, yeah, part of it is just for the spectator sport, some of it's for the prizes, but if any wizards, piss each other off or have an argument, they're like, I'll see you at the next Brawl Arcane. And like, yeah. And that's where they, settle their differences.
Sweet. Yeah, I've never played Blood Bowl, but I've heard Blood Bowl can be fun. So maybe this is my introduction to something like Blood Bowl, because you said that you were
What?
partially
It's
inspired by it.
It's I kind of had to be inspired by it in that it's a similar concept of
Yeah.
modern spectator sport style thing, but shoved into a high fantasy world.
Yeah.
Because that's Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl is just sort of gridiron, but the announcer is a goblin, and it's like a magical trumpet that makes his voice loud enough for you to hear or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of vibe anyway.
Yeah.
Except this is more like boxing or like a cage match. I don't know.
Oh, cage match. There's a scenario where the board gets smaller
Yeah.
every turn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that would
Oh, that would be cool.
that game would be about 4 minutes long, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Because the turns in this game are so quick because there's only 4 models each, and a
Yeah.
lot of time it's just move, roll 2 dice, nothing happens, move on.
Hey, listen, when you got analysis paralysis like me and Hydra, it can take longer.
Well, yeah.
But you could do like not like every 1 turn, but every 2 turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Or depending on the board size, like if you have 12 by 12 board, it gets. And maybe you don't have to kill each other, but have to accomplish a different mission. Like open the box in the middle of the game and push the red button, or everyone gets squashed. Stuff like that.
Sorry, Brett,
I would say the third scenario is the Slay the Beast one, where you have a big crazy monster.
Yeah.
You have to take. Yeah.
But maybe take the random monster concept from Frostgrave, and have not have massive monsters
jump
around the board, but have smaller minions. Like minions. They just come off from one random side and suddenly screw up your massively cool plan.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I really like about the monster one that I did accidentally, I did something and was like, oh, because I've done that, it means something better. So I just did it that, I guess, the logical thing for winner is just, because I didn't just want it to be whoever kills the monster wins.
Yeah.
Because it means that you could just sit there hiding until it's on low health and then jump in and steal the kill.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. So I just made it that, you get a point for each damage you do to it. Whoever does the most points wins.
Nice.
But I then realized that in doing that, it meant that even if both wizards are completely destroyed by the monster, there's still a winner.
Oh.
Because even if you only manage to do 1 damage to it, and your opponent only managed to do 2 damage to it, and then it kills both of you, there's still a winner because one of you will have 2 points and one has 1 point.
Nice.
Yep,
I mean,
it's good.
It's a moral victory, but it at least still has
victory. Hey, listen, I've played Death May Die, and we've had the result where at the end we kill the old one, but we also get murdered ourselves, and we still called that a victory.
Yeah, but it's happened quite a lot where I have accidentally come across something like that. Like, oh, that works. Now I don't have to write, you win if this happens, and if you're both dead, then this is how you sort out the winner. It's like, no, you just whoever wins. It doesn't matter whether you live or die. the prize gets passed on to the wizard's family. I don't know.
The minions get the prize.
Yeah. Yeah, like with the minions, like it's all pretty vague as to whether the minions are like real, because like some wizards have minions that are clearly like supposed to be real creatures,
Yeah.
and others are not so much. Like they
Mhm.
definitely feel like something that they have created or conjured.
Apparitions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Astral Warlock. No,
Yeah.
yeah. I just love the description that he is summoning things from a dimension beyond and not sure what it's.
He doesn't understand them.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, it's the classic sort of Lovecraftian thing of that like hubris.
Yeah.
yeah.
That will be humanity's downfall.
That's why I stuck with him.
Yeah, well, that's the picture that's up now from my Instagram. That's
Oh shit!
my
I just
Astral
left that up. I didn't actually look.
That's my Astral Warlock. So
Oh, okay.
'Cause with each
with his
update, I like-
creepy little monsters.
if you go next, if you hit like the next,
Yeah.
picture
Back
in
or
that
forward?
post. Oh, I'm looking
Oh,
at the
that's
screen.
Necromunda.
I'm like 15 seconds behind.
Oh, the stream's behind. Okay, yeah. If you go off the title page and onto the actual pictures of him.
Yeah. Like that post has different pictures of them.
One drop off my Wi-Fi is going to be an issue.
What's that?
I'll see you guys next time.
Oh, you gotta go?
I think his Wi-Fi is causing him trouble.
Oh shit.
Hmm.
Sorry, Flynn. Thanks. I feel like we're having a Brawl Arcane good time here, not really interacting with everyone else, but
But yeah, I like whenever I do an update, I want to have a picture of some models to put up when I put up the post on Instagram, because that's basically
Smart.
my ad.
yeah.
So I just build. So when it was the beast, I built a beast. When it's Forbidden Knowledge, I build a wizard from Forbidden Knowledge.
Yeah.
And like there was one update where it was just like some new rules, and then I released one new wizard. So I built a new wizard, which was the Mermancer, which I was pretty happy when I came up with that name.
Yeah.
And a wizard called a Mermancer. I was like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah,
Where's the merman?
Merman. You have to scroll back a bit
Yeah.
because that was the first update.
Oh, okay. That's called the first update.
There
There we go.
Yeah, that's the first big update, I think is what it was called.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, you got the crabby in there and the fishy. I like his hat.
Yeah. Yeah, his head is like an old, empire.
Yeah, one of those rifle or pistol guys, right?
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
know.
you
what
made
it's
him
from.
a deep one?
I just got a big batch of old Warhammer from a buddy.
Yeah.
It's all mixed and matched and stuff, so I don't actually know what it is. It's all out of print stuff, so I have no idea what it actually is. I just know it's Empire. Yeah, I've called them sea folk, is what I've referred to them to in the book.
Yeah.
Because I wrote a thing, so there's 5 main. The deepest the lore goes is there's 5 main arenas, and I wrote 2 sentences on each arena just to give some flavor to the world. And one of them is a half-sunk city, sort of like a semi-Atlantis kind of thing, full of sea folk.
Yeah.
And I just love that head because it's so different from what I would have used.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I made him like kind of a sea person, but he's not really. He's just a man with like slightly blue skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like pirate wizard, but I also want him to be. The thing is, I have to try and I don't want to dictate anything with my models either. I don't want people to think like this is what a Mermancer should look like, but also I kind of want to cover all the bases. So it's like, well, in my head, Mermancer is both sea wizard but also pirate wizard. So I guess I'll make a pirate sea wizard. Like
I feel like Symbio Joe said something about a pirate wizard earlier.
So yeah, that's my pirate wizard.
Great.
And it's got like, if you read on the description, I say in the book too, you should give your characters, each wizard should have a name and a loose, backstory. So he's got his name and backstory there. I do that for all the ones I put up.
Great.
They
So
have a
what's
name
his
and
name?
title. So he's I can actually read it on this stream, and I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can get
Okay.
it. Barlow Narrowsen, Quartermaster of the Kraken's Revenge. The new Mermancer
Yeah,
wizard, as featured in this update, went for some colors that I'm not used to using.
So yeah, he's a pirate wizard. So yeah, he's the quartermaster of the Kraken's Revenge, which is just Blackbeard's ship, but more fantasy, right? Like,
Fantastic. Wait, is that the name of Blackbeard's ship?
Blackbeard's ship was the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Oh, okay.
So I just changed Queen Anne to Kraken to make it more fantasy-like.
I like it.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call this soon to go have dinner. Is there any? I feel like we haven't really interacted with the chat as much as usual. Is anyone in the chat who has any questions for Brett or any like comments? I know you might not have played Brawl Arcane before, but just from like looking at it and hearing about it, feel free to post those in the chat. Simon, what's your next thing for Brawl Arcane? Oh, sorry, what's that?
Or just post them in the Discord later if you come up. Yeah, that's what the Discord's for. There's a whole thing.
Oh, do you want me to plug the Discord here? Do you want me to like put the link in there?
The link's on the itch.io page, so
okay.
There's like a whole channel literally just for, questions of like how does this work or whatever.
Yep. I will put the I8 whatever. I can't get the letters right. I'll put that in the chat again in case anyone missed it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What is itch.io? I feel like I should know what that is.
Website. It's mostly used. I've mostly seen it used for indie video games.
Yeah.
They do a lot of like game jams and stuff. A lot of times they just generic game jams will be hosted there as well, but they also do a lot of tabletop stuff. Like a lot of people will put up, third party scenarios and stuff for various like role playing games and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically just a place for, games. It's, like looking at the front page, actually, the latest feature games is a bunch of, indie video games, but also Morkborg.
Oh, Morkborg. Okay, I've heard of that.
Because Morkborg just released some new stuff, so it's on the front page because it's, popped up.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's like, it's hard to get stuff on Steam sometimes, and also you can't do like play as you want or whatever, or pay what you want sort of thing. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's just indie games basically, video games, role playing games, all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah, I need to join Brawl Arcane 28. I was not on the Discord.
Yeah, as you have played it twice.
I'm officially a player now.
Yeah. Probably more than you've played Kill Team.
Oh, hell yeah. I've played Kill Team once.
Look at that.
Oh, Tom Wilson's here. And why is YouTube blocking Tom Wilson saying, since Diana isn't here, I just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe? Yes. If you're commenting in the chat, you've clearly subscribed already, but if you'd like to comment in the chat, you should definitely subscribe. We do the Creature Conference every Friday. Usually we talk about Tyranids or Warhammer 40k or Xenos stuff, but as you can see from this episode, sometimes we talk about other cool shit too. Yeah, and hopefully people have enjoyed this rundown of Brawl Arcane. Having played it, like Simon said, twice, it's very easy to get into. Brett has done a very good job of balancing like characterful names and for the wizards and minions and abilities, but not so much that like it puts you in a box. So there's still a lot of room for that creativity and imagination, which I definitely appreciate.
Again, because that was the idea behind it originally, was that it was less of a game to play and more of ideas for conversions.
Yep.
But then in tinkering with it, it turned out to be actually a kind of fun game.
Yeah, so if you're into like the kind of stuff that we saw with like the the 28 mag challenge with like the prompts for conversions, this is a great way to get prompts for further conversions and then actually play a game with them. You don't have to paint a lot of miniatures, which is awesome because I've gotten better with painting, but I definitely don't enjoy it as much as converting. So great to have like the prompts come up with cool conversions and then just paint. I say this like I've done it. I haven't done it yet, but one day convert up some wizards and then paint them up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And actually play a game.
And you asked what I'm about to do with Brawl Arcane.
Yes.
So I desperately need to add some terrain to my table because
You need to terrain desperately. Don't you have tons and tons of terrain from like everything?
yeah, probably. But I want to, have terrain fitting for the board I've built.
Yes.
Because I want to. I've taught my, as I mentioned, the German podcast dude.
Yep.
Into playing the game with me, and we want to see if we cannot turn this into a podcast. So, recording our game and cheering and shouting while we do that.
Oh, cool.
Well, the terrain I made sort of for the initial post, I figured I should show the models on a finished board.
Yeah.
I just used some cork rock stuff, and then most of it is from it's just like D&D terrain basically.
Yeah.
I think it's terrain crate maybe. Oh, just
Yeah.
it's like Wizard's study set or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like that'll
From
do.
then.
I think so, yeah.
Hey, Simon, what about that random terrain I sent you from that Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter?
I was just thinking about that as well.
Yeah, because it looks kind of like the stuff that Brett used. Dungeons and lasers, that's what I got. I got dungeons and lasers, and I was more interested in the lasers than the dungeons. So I sent Simon all my dungeons, and now I wish I'd kept some dungeons because I've got something to dungeon with. But I guess I've got Hero Quest sitting here doing nothing that I could make some dungeon stuff with.
Yeah, because it already fits so well on the board size. So if you
like we just busted out some Hero Quest stuff and just slapped it on Simon's board that he made, and it was great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I used I made each tile like 3 by 3 centimeters, and that fit very well with the boards.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, because I have a thing for statues. I don't know why, but
Okay.
At some point someone made some statues plaster things turn into 40k terrain, and I was all about that.
Was that Wilhelm or no?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. It was Wilhelm.
Oh no, it's that guy. There's that guy. He's an American like former serviceman who does like giant armies, like huge armies. Like he'll commission. He does a lot of using sculptures. Also, that Baroth, Cry of the Wind or whatever. Baroth.
Yeah. Probably
Okay.
he. Yeah. So I want to use one of my Solstice 28 casts to make me a statue that would sit there. Of course, it's going to be like a Lovecraftian arena dungeon kind of thing. Yep.
I say from what I've seen, most people, at least just to get things started, tend to just get foam blocks and just make them like stone as sort of stone pillars to just put on the board, just have something.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's the easiest way to you could do that in an hour. Like
that's quick and easy, but I have never been the quick and easy guy.
Bullshit. You do all kinds of quick and easy. You're the master of quick and easy. You took like painting miniatures, which was like overwhelming to me, and you made it quick and easy by just fucking doing it.
Well, yeah. doing what I can. That's what I'm really looking forward to, and of course I want to paint my my Slugwizard entry here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the Dungeons and Lasers. I see it now. Or no,
What?
wait, is that He-Man that you're doing now?
That's He-Man. Yeah,
Oh shit, I thought that was Dungeons and Lasers. Never mind.
but it would be great terrain as well.
So if you're not following Brett, I'm gonna make sure I post Brett's Instagram in the chat so you can follow him.
Oh, well, I'll also say that because tomorrow the plan is that I'm finally gonna meet up with the storyboard guy.
Oh, you are? Oh, this epic
Creature
game
Comp-
that you guys have been talking about forever on the 5th member Discord?
Yes.
Nice.
So that's supposed to be happening tomorrow, and I am gonna take my Brawl Arcane stuff too. We'll see if we can
Nice.
have time to get a game. With
Can you like take pictures or I don't know, do a live or something?
Well, yeah, I plan to take pictures because I posted I have one model in my list that is unpainted, but it's also the biggest one, so I figured I should paint it. So that's my plan for like this afternoon is finish painting this thing.
Nice.
Because it would look dumb to like take photos.
Oh
and just
shit!
have
Look, sorry,
all these nice
June.
painted models.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. June showed up, who is also in Australia, but apparently he feels horrible, so he's not going to stick around. But thanks. I just want to say thanks to hi to him and thanks for stopping by because we don't see him on the stream very often. So he's another one of your countrymen.
Hope you're getting well soon, man.
Yep. Well, I look forward to seeing this giant model. Wait, have you shown us this giant model, but you haven't posted it yet? Like, I mean, have you posted it unpainted on your...
The unpainted ones on my Instagram is the Moloch with the real wibbly arms.
Wibbly arms. Go find that.
Oh, are we finally talking about Tyranids?
Right, we'll do that for the last 5 minutes.
Sorry. Okay, I was thinking Brawl Arcane. You were talking Tyranids. Okay, you guys are actually playing...
Yeah, no.
Wait, are you guys playing Tyranid versus Tyranid?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Cool.
It's only like 25 power because it's going to be pretty small.
Whatever.
Because that's all I've got.
You can still be badass at 25 power.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I've played 2 games with my Tyranids, and I think they won both. My spawn currently, with the new Chaos Codex, currently undefeated.
Nice.
Spawner in a normal Chaos Space Marine list where you have 1 or 2 spawn, they are quite powerful.
Yeah.
In a list where you have 15 spawn, they are fully broken.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that Codex was out yet. I can't keep track. I guess it did come out.
Yeah.
Well, you know why that is? It's because they got those new spawn models they want to sell.
Well, they don't have new spawn models. Those new models are their own thing.
Oh, they're not spawn?
No, they're just mutant cultists. They're a new unit.
Oh, shit. So they've got old spawn models they want to sell. No, what about the ones where it's like the winged thing with the guy who's part of the body?
Yeah, that's a new unit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So they're just trying to sell old spawn models with broken rules.
Yeah, I don't know. They are very hard to kill unless you bring stuff specifically to kill them, which most people don't.
Okay. Nice.
Like,
Congrats.
I played a couple of games against like Sisters of Battle, and it was a normal squad of sisters pretty much can't kill them.
Oh.
They can maybe kill 1 a turn, and then the spawn just eat them in one go.
That sounds like fun.
Yep.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, basically they're a hell of a lot harder to kill, and it to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if it gets changed in an FAQ.
Yeah.
Well, look at you. How
my list that's fully based on purely aesthetics is suddenly this like crazy meta list.
What's that thing? Model for what is it? WoW or no? There's some expression.
I'm not sure what.
It's like
what you're
list
talking
building based on like what's fun rather than list building based on what's awesome. I can't remember.
about. I don't know. Yeah, I
Anyway,
always
so
just
you chose what was
always-
fun, and now you're winning.
yeah. Well, my lists are pretty much always every model I have.
Yeah.
Like, and all the models I have, I just build because I think they look cool.
That's the way to go. And there you go. It pays off sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
All this
Rule of
work
cool.
now pays
The word
off.
I'm looking for is rule of cool.
Oh,
You
yeah.
built
yeah.
your army based on the rule of cool, and now you're smashing face.
Yeah, that's something I put in Brawl Arcane as well as rule of cool. It's just like if you are unsure about a rule, just whatever you think is the best. Like,
Most fun.
yeah, the most fun.
Wicked. All right, Brett. Well, thanks for chatting with us about this.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to have you
Anytime.
on, especially since it's very early in the morning there and cold, apparently. Very cold in Australia right now.
Yeah, well, it's winter,
Yeah,
and climate change and all that shit.
yeah. We're getting the other side of that here, where
Yeah.
it's hot. Well, it's not as hot as balls today, but I know, Simon, it's been pretty hot where you are.
Yeah,
Yes.
Europe's been pretty getting battered, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, UK is losing their minds. That's probably why Flynn's Wi-Fi died and Peter had to tap out because it's just so hot.
their routers have melted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's all these stories going around that like Nintendo was like, "Don't play your Nintendo Switch; it's too damn hot."
Well, the things I saw in the news was like it's been hot enough to like warp the train tracks and stuff.
Oh, that's crazy! I missed that one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or at least they thought it might. They were in
Yeah.
danger of it
Yeah.
because they're not built for it.
No, you're right.
We're all gonna die.
Oh god.
Sooner or
Slow,
later.
hot death.
Yes.
All right, friends. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to this episode of the Creature Conference. Different creatures than normal, but I'm really glad that we took this chance to talk about Brawl Arcane because it's just a good example of how you don't need to let Games Workshop dictate your fun. You can figure out your own fun, and you don't have to buy 1,000 models to have a good time.
That's a very good summary.
Yeah. And I don't know what's happening next week. I might not be able to do a stream next Friday. I might do some kind of weird impromptu thing if it works. Can't guarantee, but I'll try. So I'm glad we got this one in, but we'll definitely be back in 2 weeks with another Euro stream, provided Simon can make it. And Flynn is available. Maybe Marco will join us. We'll see.
Yeah. Poor Marco. Feels
Yeah.
like he's been working his ass off for a while now.
Certainly. Oh, wait. One thing. Era, you told me Era, I think, is back and had a question. Hi, guys. Are there any podcasts that you recommend as must-listen podcasts? So before we go, shall we talk about must-listen podcasts?
Well, the problem is that they're probably English.
Yeah, probably
So-
English. If you speak German, he might speak German. You don't know. So Simon, give some German recommendations for anyone, because there are people who watch this who probably speak German.
Okay. If you like your 40k lore presented chaotic and with lots of beer, I could recommend you Beim Imperator nichts Neues, which is run by three guys, which are really fun to listen to, especially when you're working and on something you don't need your brain for, and you just want to switch out and listen to folks having fun. And then, of course, the Maga Potato podcast, which is the one I've referred to earlier, which is they are basically hosting the other podcast as well.
I was going to say, I thought those two were affiliated.
Yeah, but they are, well, the one the Beim Imperator nichts Neues is hosted by the other one.
Oh, okay.
But Maga Potato is having like all kinds of different formats of podcasts. So like there's something in there for everyone.
Hey, what about you, Brett? Podcasts?
Well, like with 40k sort of podcasts, Adeptus Ridiculous is a good one.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
It's the basic premise is that it's two guys. One is a massive 40k nerd, knows all the lore, and the other guy knows nothing.
Mhm.
And they have a different topic each week, and he just sort of, spends an hour sort of going through the rough lore of this, basically explaining it to him over time. And it's really interesting. It's also very casual, very meme heavy. It's pretty funny though. Like, it's not. They don't take it seriously at all.
What's the name again?
They're like Adeptus Ridiculous.
Adeptus Ridiculous. Oh, Kajan, hi, buddy.
The motto is basically entertainment over education. So they'll happily say things wrong if it's funnier to say it wrong. And there's like a bunch of weird in jokes and stuff in it, but it's pretty good fun.
Okay. And my own 40k podcast recommendation, I feel like I've done it before. It's not just 40k. It kind of strays into like Inc. 28 and Mordheim sometimes, but is Between the Bolter and Me, which is Between the Bolter and Me is their Instagram account. It's Dragged into Turbo Lasers. That's the podcast that's done by Between the Bolter and Me. You can find it on podcast apps or whatever. They also do regular streams on Twitch, and I think they co-stream on YouTube. It's the three triplets, the Wire brothers, and I'm gonna warn you right away that they're triplets. They sound alike, and they have kind of monotone voices that go like this. But they talk about some really cool stuff, and they're very progressive when it comes to like hobby community stuff. They're very like inclusive and open, encouraging. Their big thing is if you follow Between the Bolter and Me on Instagram, they do a lot of like remaking of 40k firearms to make them more realistic scale, and they do a lot of like remaking of like human proportion models to make them more realistic. But they do like random like evaluations of new releases and stuff like that. They tend to be very critical of Games Workshop models, but I think they're nice guys, and I've been on their podcast a couple times. Always have a good time. So that's the one I'd recommend.
Another one I will podcast I recommend is the of course the What Is on the Tabletop podcast from Symbio Joe.
Oh shit, it's a good thing Symbio isn't here to hear us not recommend his podcast immediately. Yes, hosted by Symbio Joe. Go. You got any more to say about that, Brett?
I've been on it. If you go back far enough, you'll find my episode somewhere. I don't know.
He actually he calls me guest stealer or something because I steal his guests apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
I listen to heaps of podcasts about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like my job, I like drive around a lot, so
Yeah.
I just listen to podcasts all the time. So yeah, I listen to all sorts of weird shit. I'm currently listening to one which is a sort of episode by episode review of Futurama by a drag queen.
What? Cool.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Wait, who's the drag queen? Is anyone I know? It's not
That's,
Courtney Act, is it?
No, it's Jinx Monsoon.
Oh, I know Jinx.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was profiling. Courtney Act is the only Aussie drag queen I know. She's also stupid fishy. If you know anything about drag queens, she's dangerously fishy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called I'm 40% Podcast, if anyone wants to look at it.
And it's only about Futurama?
Yeah, like it's a review show. Like episode 1, they talk about the pilot of Futurama. Episode 2 is they discuss episode 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds like fun.
My other random...
They discuss, oh, this is a fun episode, except it's from 20 years ago, so there are some problematic characters in it. And like, as you know, is about to happen
Yeah.
with
Um,
20-year-old media.
so if we're talking about non-40... Oh, shit. Okay, the podcast you should definitely follow that never has any new episodes is Xenos Alchemist, which is my podcast. The last episode I put out was March 23rd, but I'm actually thinking of putting out this as an episode of Xenos Alchemist so people can find Brawl Arcane 28. Yeah, because I never publish anything on it, and I pay for hosting, so I should probably fix that. But I was going to recommend a podcast called Wild Thing. And there's been 3 seasons so far, and every season focuses on a different thing. The first season is about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and like analyzing people who believe in Sasquatch and like possible like scientific. It's not just like random woo-woo stuff. It's also like some scientific content. So the first season's about Bigfoot. The second season is about, it's called Space Invaders, and it's about extraterrestrials, but it's more like the search for extraterrestrial life. That one's more scientific. Talks about like the Fermi theorem, Fermi equation, all that stuff. And then the most recent season of Wild Thing is called Going Nuclear, and it's about atomic energy and like it's very American based, I will warn you. So like the impacts that like nuclear energy has had on or atomic energy has had on the United States. So yeah, it's kind of a fun one to listen to. If you're looking for something not 40K related, I could recommend that. All right. I think that'll have to do because I gotta run for dinner. Oh man, we were gonna go over like cool models that we saw this week. I guess we'll have to save that for later, but
What?
Because what I had asked, I don't know if you saw that, Simon. I'd asked you and Flynn to come up with cool models that you saw this week.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry.
That's
Didn't see
fine.
it.
I barely did. So I'm just gonna do the one that I said I was gonna do because I'm a jerk and I steal it. Is Deshonde's Screamer Killer. So if you're not following Deshonde, here you go. He remade the Screamer Killer and he did a bang up job. This is a very large model. So go follow Deshonde and check out Screamer Killer painted in the classic scheme.
Yeah,
He did a really good
which
job.
looks amazing. Like in new age.
Show you the greens as well. Where are the greens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing sculpting work, conversion work on this one. Yes, go check it out. Okay. Oh, Behind the Bastards. There you go. Tom Wilson's recommending Behind the Bastards as a podcast. I think Tom Wilson has recommended that before, so you can check that one out. And I think that's a historical podcast about shitty people or something. I haven't actually listened to it, but I know we've talked about it before. Okay, that's all for this week. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay healthy.
Bye, Brett. Thank you so much. Bye, Simon. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
And to everyone in the chat, we'll talk to you soon.